girl, you look a little restless. Yeah, well, you need to come on with me, because I'm going where the fun is. Come on, don't get lazy now. Just a little bit up the road. Just around the bend. There's something going round inside my head. I think it's something I feel. Something unreal. And so I see my world is upside down. But there is nothing to fear. My vision is clear. I know it's good. Whole lot of fun going on. Come on, girl. There's something going round inside my head. I think it's something I feel. Something unreal. And so I see my world is upside down. But there is nothing to fear.
All right. Right. I'm here. I know. It's 9 o'clock. I say 7:30, but y'all know I really mean 9 o'clock. I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. When I say 7:30, I may mean not 8:30 or 9 o'clock, honestly. Because what all I gotta deal with, you know, wives, children, business, the a street festival, which by the way, we're almost gonna reach our goal of 15K. We're not that far away from 15K, right? We coming up to 10. But like I said, everybody, please donate to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, sponsored by the Republic of America, to celebrate our American roots, our American heritage as American Indigenous people. Yes, we are the American Indigenous people. Yes, we are the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, the Olmecs, the American Indians, the real American Indians. Yes, we are. Yes, indeed. So please go down below and hit that link. Lovely wife, can you please put that link in? Please put that link in so everybody can hit that. Again, I'm sorry for the delay, but like I said, y'all ain't got nothing else better to do but listen to the truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So again, welcome. Open up in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, and Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am your host, the intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan, and this is Supreme American TV. And today we're going to be talking about the USA. The USA. Was the USA created by Native Americans? I'm going to answer that question factually and logically. But first and foremost, we must understand what native and indigenous means. We need to understand what native and indigenous means. Indigenous means people who are connected to the land, the first people of that land, the first known people of that land. Okay, that's what that is. Indigenous people are the people, like I said, the first and only known people of that land. That's what indigenous people are. In other words, when you think of the first people to be on a landmass, that's your indigenous people. All right. Your native people are the people that come as colonizers, as invaders, gentrifiers. The people that come and move into your neighborhoods, move into your communities, come move into your areas and take up residence. But the Europeans, the Asians, and all these people that came from the other side of the world made their way into South and Central America and then eventually North America. But we were already here before them as the indigenous people. Your native people are just people who come into a landmass. They are people that come into a landmass and they come in and they have children, you see, and guests, that too. They come in from other places and they anchor themselves to the said country that they come into, and then when their children start to being born here, that's when they become Native Americans. That's when they start becoming natives. The children are the Native Americans of those immigrant parents who came here. See, you can be one generation after an immigrant and be considered Native American. So when I say all white people, Europeans, so-called Native, who were the first Native Americans, the first people to use that terminology, Native American, was your Europeans, your Caucasians. Don't let the Mongolian looking red natives tell you that that term native comes from them. It doesn't come from them. It comes from the Europeans, because when they came over here, a lot of them were cosplaying like they were the American indigenous people. A lot of them were cosplaying and they were wearing the feathered head crowns and things like that. They were doing that because they were trying to fit in with the people. You know what that's like? That's like, excuse me, that's like today when you can have white people, you got white people, Asian people, everybody make their way over into America. Arabs make their way over into America, and they start acting like the culture of America. I said before, the culture of America is so-called Black Americans, because we the indigenous Americans. Everybody wear their hair like us. Everybody want to talk like us, because to talk like us, the indigenous people, is considered to be what? Cool. To be able to talk like the indigenous people, the real people, that's considered to be cool. So when everybody came over here, they started copying from us. Even the Caucasian Europeans, they started copying from us, taking pieces of our history, pieces of our names, and meshing them in with their European English names. That's how you got a lot of the names and the languages over here, because they wanted to be in alignment with the indigenous people here, us. So your indigenous people are the people who are connected to the land, the first and only people of that land. And we know that the first and only real people of this land, America, is our people, so-called Black Americans, not people that came from Africa into America, but we are the people who are connected to the land. We are married to the land. Just like, and this is what I don't understand. I gotta ask this question. Get up here close and personal with y'all. I don't understand how people act as though you can't come from America. Like in other words, because you listen to the Europeans, because you listen to the Caucasians, they say that everybody is an immigrant in America. This is what they say. This is the lie they tell. They say that everybody's an immigrant in America. And now they're bringing out that even the so-called Native Americans, the people who you see, the Asian, mongoloid-looking people, they bringing it out that these people are not indigenous to America. We've been knew that. They indigenous to Asia. You could look in their face and tell. You could look in their face and tell they Asians that came over into America. You could see that. They Asians that came over into America, and they started adopting the ways and the customs of the indigenous people, our people. The feathered head crowns and all of that came from our people. That's kind of like when you get, again, you get people that come over and move next to us, like, or say Puerto Ricans, like the white looking ones. As soon as the white Puerto Ricans and all them come around us, they start, they was with the cha-cha-cha and the pointy shooting along here. Then when they come around, they start listening to rap music and wearing their hair like ours and talking like us. And then they start adopting our culture because we the indigenous people. Everybody adopts American indigenous black, so-called Black American indigenous people's culture, from our music to our dance, everything. I asked this so-called Native American Mongoloid, the ones with the ones who look Asian, the ones who call themselves Native American. They don't even call themselves Indians. But I asked this guy the question. I said, if you guys, and I even did a cast on this, I said, if you guys are indigenous to America and you the first people in America, there was nobody before you, then how is it that your culture doesn't dominate America? How is it that your culture doesn't dominate America? How is it that we're not listening to your music? How is it that we're not dancing like you? How is it that we're not doing, it don't fit. Your culture is supposed to dominate America if you are the indigenous people of America. It doesn't matter if, like for example, in South Africa, South African culture dominates the South African country, so-called Black South African culture. The Afrikaners, they don't dominate nothing. They culture they control the government, but they don't dominate the culture. That's the same way it is here in America. That's why our culture dominates, because we the indigenous people. The so-called Native Americans, their culture don't dominate. You don't know nothing about them people. You don't know what their names mean. What is their language? What do you know about these people? What is their music? You see? What do you know about them other than they living on some reservation somewhere? What do you know about these people? Because you're supposed to know something. People know about us. People know about our music, our dance, and our culture. Everybody know about us. So he says, sir, we are all Black people at the end of the day. First of all, is your skin black, Eddie? Somebody said, we all Black people at the end of the day. Is your skin black? Is your skin, do you have black skin? Do I got black skin? Do I got black skin or do I got bronze skin? You see? Do I got bronze? Do I got black skin or do I got copper colored skin, Eddie? I got to ask you that question. Because you're talking about we Black. I'm not a black man, Eddie. I'm sorry. Yeah, Eddie probably is a troll. He probably is. Probably a Caucasian, or a simple-minded Negro. But anyway, I'm not gonna let him down. I'm keep an eye on him, my Mars, just in case he start talking crazy, because we always get somebody that come in here trying to distract the conversation. But anyway, we're not gonna give energy to him. But anyway, so the United States of America The government was created by Native Americans with the labor of American Indians. I'm going to say this again. The United States of America was created by Native Americans, meaning the government, the United Colonies. Because remember, I told you, the so-called white man would be considered a Native American. So yeah, he could be a Native American. Doesn't mean that don't mean they're indigenous to America. That all that means is that they immigrants. They come from an immigrant background. That's all that means. All that means is that Native Americans come from immigrant backgrounds. So the Europeans, the so-called white man, who is not American, white people are not Americans, Caucasians are not Americans, the so-called Europeans who came over here, the Europeans, they adopted a lot of the ways of our people, right? And they came over here as Native Americans, people who came from someplace else. So they can be classified as Native Americans. Again, a Native American is nothing but an immigrant. Natives are not indigenous. And Native and indigenous don't mean the same thing. They used American indigenous labor, meaning our people, to build this country, to build the economy. Because who better than the indigenous people know how to work the land? Because that's where the money came from. The economy of America came from the soil. So being that the economy of America came from the soil, meaning the farming and all these things that our people knew how to do, that's from cotton to tobacco to all the foods and all that. That's what created an economy for America. That's why slavery was so detrimental to the United Colonies. They needed slaves. They needed indigenous people to work. That's why you had slave catchers, European slave catchers, and you had a few of these indigenous people that were working with them. And let me tell you something. There were some Africans that came over here with them. There were some Africans, but a lot of those Africans that came over here with them was helping catch indigenous people. Some of those Africans that came over here was helping. You see, like a lot of these Africans today, a lot of them are real sambos for the so-called white man. A lot of them are sambos, and they'll be against you. But when the few of them that did trickle over here came into, because some Africans did make it over here, very small number, not enough to make a dent in the American indigenous bloodline. So, and let me just say this, I got to go back to what Tariq Nasheed said. Tariq Nasheed said that we went through an ethnogenesis, right? Now, I say a shout out to Tariq Nasheed because what he said didn't even make no sense. He said that we went through an ethnogenesis where Africans came over here in slavery and mixed with the indigenous people here, meaning so-called Black American indigenous people. And from that's where we come from. Okay, but like I said, you calling us African Americans then. Y'all don't see where he's not changing anything, FBA. He's calling you an African American. If he believes that we have some origins in Africa and that that our African ancestors came over, our so-called African ancestors came over here and mixed in with these people, then that means he's calling you an African American. He's calling us African Americans. And we're not African Americans. Because we was already in America. And I noticed this with a lot of these so-called pro-blacks, like Tariq Nasheed. Again, no disrespect, because I like his work, but things they say, they be off. They never talk about our origins, our history, where we started. Because before we came into North America, we was in South and Central America. Our people, again, with the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, we didn't come north into America. We was spread out throughout South and Central America, the islands, and all over the place. Peru, all the places that's in American territories, we was on those islands. Puerto Rico, the original Puerto Ricans is us, right? Until the Europeans came, the Spanish came over there and mixed in with our people, and that's why you got these white-looking Puerto Ricans today, because they white Spaniards. They the product of white Spaniards. The real Puerto Ricans look like me. The real Puerto Ricans look like me. The real Dominicans look like myself. Because these are the real American indigenous people. So we came from South and Central America into North America when there was nobody here. Nobody was here. So we ain't no African Americans. We American Americans. If you want to get technical about it, I might do a shirt like that. We American Americans. We're not no African Americans. We American Americans. Meaning that we came from one part of America, one continent, South America and Central America in the middle, and came over into North America when there was nobody here, thousands and thousands of years ago. You see? And we set up all the mound cities and things like that were found in Georgia. They call Indian burial grounds. All the mound places in Mississippi. You got the Mississippian people in Tennessee, all around those areas. Our people, that's our people, man. That's our American indigenous people. That's our American people, our original ancient American peoples there. The people that came over as the Mayans, that came over here as the Aztec coming over here in groups, and then they divided into indigenous tribes. And that's how they got all over America. They was all over North America. We had indigenous people in every state. There was indigenous people, but they just didn't come together. That was the problem. It was on their tribal thing. So he says, I'm black. I'm a black man. That's what they see me as. Why do you? Well, let me ask you this for a second, Eddie. Why is it that's what they see? You sound like a slave. Why do you care about what the white man see you as? Because when you say they, what you really mean is that's how the white man see me. So then you a damn slave. I'm not a slave, and I'm not a black man. I'm an American man. I'm an American indigenous man. I'm not a black man. I am a copper-colored man. I'm a bronze man, and I'm an American. All that slave talk, all that black talk, well, that's how they see you. That's how they're going to judge you. Y'all sound like a bunch of Sambos and coons. Why do you care what they think? It really baffles me as to why y'all care what Caucasian people think. Y'all don't see yourselves as Sambos and coons? Why the hell you care what they think? Why the hell you care what they call you? They could call you a ham sandwich. What does that matter? Y'all sound like some y'all who talk like, well, that's how they see me, and you can say you that, but if they call you black, you're gonna be black. That's slave talk. That's slave talk. Just like calling out people black is slave talk. Because if you sit up here and you acknowledge a system of white supremacy that called our people Negroes and black people, then why are you calling our people Negroes and black people? Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, and all you other people, Umar Johnson. We didn't call ourselves black people. So why are y'all doing it? Ask yourself the question. If y'all supposed to be free-minded so-called men, so-called black men, again, which that term didn't come from you, why are you wearing a title that comes from a white supremacist? The term black comes from the system of white supremacy. They called us black people. We didn't call ourselves black people. So then why are you calling yourself black people? Why are you calling us black people and our skin isn't black? Our skin isn't even black. You see? Our skin, because again, you Negroes got low self-esteem, man. That's why you want to answer as black people. You want to answer as African American. Why? And the only reason y'all believe your skin is black and that you African American because you was taught that by the so-called white man. And you believe everything he say. You Negroes believe everything the Europeans say, the Caucasians and whoever else. But these are the biggest liars on the planet Earth. And you believe this nonsense? You believe that your people came over here from Africa on cargo slave ships stacked like sardines? Why? Because you were programmed to believe that nonsense. They taught you that, and you was watching that in these black history classes that's under these under the system of white supremacy, where these people are paid to teach you these lies, man. And then you got the nerve to come up in here and try to act like that's really factual. His story, his lies. He put his lies in books and then give them to you. And again, how you know it's a lie is because it don't even make sense. Lies never make sense. That's how you know whether something's true or false, because the truth always makes sense. Lies never make sense. Lies never make sense. The whole African slave ship story don't make no sense whatsoever. It doesn't. Remember I said, why would you go all the way over to Africa and get people when you had indigenous people over here who know the land, who've been working the land, who know how to do everything, who was growing food on the land, cotton on the land. Our people's doing that already. Why would you go and get a bunch of Africans to work? They don't know how to do nothing over here. You don't know how to do nothing over here. Wouldn't you? And then you got to get on a boat and go all the way across the world and go to get these people who don't know how to do nothing in this land. You got to teach them, and you don't even know how to do nothing. You got to rely on slavery. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If y'all don't see by now that this whole nonsense about our people being from Africa and we came over on slavery, if y'all don't see that's a load of BS, something wrong with y'all, man. Something's wrong with y'all. If you can't see that our people that it makes no sense that they brought slaves over here from Africa when you had indigenous people over here, bronze skinned indigenous people, so what you call black people today, that was doing all this work, who had villages and lands. Because see, they always sell you this lie, this idea that the so-called American Indians was living in teepees and huts. No, there was whole villages, there's whole mound cities and villages and places like that. Areas where our people had well-built places that are covered over, places that are hidden in Mississippi and Tennessee and Illinois, all over the place. Indigenous people, you found mound cities. You see? So you think about that. Why would you go and get people all the way from across the world who don't know how to do nothing, and you don't know how to really do nothing, and you got people here that are already doing it? You could just force them, which is what they did. They forced our people to do it. That's why you had slave catchers in America. There was no slave catchers in Africa. You had slave catchers. The Europeans got together in posses and groups, and they started taking patches of land, and they realized they couldn't work the land. So what they did was they had to go and get the indigenous people. That's why they had to enslave the indigenous people, because they didn't know how to work the land. They were starving over here. They were dying over here, the Europeans. They were eating each other. You see, I mean, like literally cannibalizing on each other. Go back and look up the Donner Party. The Donner, Donner, like the director, Richard Donner. These people were cannibalizing on each other because they couldn't make it over here, the Europeans. So make it make sense as to why you would go to all the way to a whole other continent to get a bunch of people. You already a damn immigrant here. You're going to go and bring more immigrants back here to work the soil and whatnot that you can't work. And they can't work because they, according to you, they was over in their country and they primitive and they starving and all this other stuff. So why would you bring them here? Wouldn't it make sense for you to get the people that's already working on the land, the people that's already been living here, growing the land? Wouldn't it make sense for you to enslave them? Which is what happened. Which is what happened. They enslaved these Native Americans. These Native Americans, meaning the Europeans, the Asians, who are calling themselves Native Americans today. They came over here, got together, and enslaved the indigenous people, us. The bronze copper-colored people, as spoken of in the 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the real Americans, us. We the real Americans. We the original Americans. We the only Americans here. Do y'all understand me? And when I say ultra, I mean, do you completely comprehend what I'm saying to you? We are the only real Americans here. We are not from Africa. We don't have no ties to Africa. We are indigenous only to America, not Africa. So miss me with the, we part of some ethnogenesis and the Africans came over. Tariq Nasheed, you said that it was a small number of Africans that came over here. I remember your video where you said only a small number of Africans, less than 3% came over here. And that was even up to 1808. They wasn't bringing nobody over here. So no, there was no slave trade from Africa. And there was no Africans in here, enough Africans in here to make a dent in the indigenous people's bloodline. Because all the mass majority of the indigenous people bloodline is O positive. I'm O positive. The majority of so-called Black Americans got O positive blood. And it's proven that the people with the O positive blood are the indigenous people of America. Go look that up. Now, why we got all this O positive blood? Your Africans, a lot of them got A types and B types. They don't have O positive blood, even though we got some indigenous people who O types over in Africa. But the indigenous people are found here in the Americas here as the O types. The oldest woman found in America is a so-called Black woman. How'd that happen if we're not indigenous to America? But I'm saying that the USA, the United States of America, was created by Native Americans. Meaning the Caucasians, really the Caucasians. The Caucasians are Native Americans. And they used indigenous help, the American indigenous people, us, to do their work. So it was really a joint effort. Whether you know it or not, it was really, the United States of America is a damn joint effort. Because if we didn't allow ourselves to be enslaved, because that's basically what we did. We allowed ourselves to be enslaved, and so, a lot of our people wasn't slaves, but a lot of our people were, because they allowed themselves to stay in these areas and whatnot, because they've been there all that time, the Mississippians and all that. And when where they took the land from the Indians when they I forget what the Indian Removal Act. I'm sorry. When the Indian Removal Act came, they was pushing our people off the land because I told you before the Native Americans didn't have no land. They didn't have no land. They were squatting on reservations or what became reservations, and they was just moved by the U.S. government. These were your people these were your Native Americans were Asians. These were your Asians who was cosplaying as American indigenous people, us. The people who call themselves Native Americans are Asians. I've been said that these are not indigenous people of America. They're Asiatic people. They're Asians. Okay. And when they came into America, like I said, because a lot of them was running from either I think it was Genghis Khan or somebody. They was running from as Mongols. The Mongolians, which is Asians, the Mongolians ran into and crossed the Bering Strait, running from Genghis Khan or somebody. I forgot who they was running from, and a lot of them left Mongolia and came over into South and Central America. They made their way over here, and that's when they came across our people. That's when they came across, because all you got to do is look at the Bone and Punk temples and you can see who the indigenous people are. All you got to do is look at all the artwork that they try to cover up, because they repainting a lot of the artwork and making it white, because I've seen repainted pictures of Bone and Punk temples. So y'all better be careful. When y'all get pieces of Bone and Punk temple like I had on my wall over there, make sure you keep those images of the Bone and Punk temple, because they whitening up the images right now. They whitening up the images of the Bone and Punk temple. And they'll tell you later on, because these people don't care about lying, man. These racist Caucasians, these people who lie about history, these people who want to erase us from history, these people who want to act like we not the real Americans, they want to take our place. Nah, man, we can't let that go down, man. We can't let them take our place. We can't let them erase us. You see, we can't allow that. We can't allow these simple-minded Negroes to erase us, because they doing the bidding of these racist Caucasians, these racist Europeans. And like I said, keep in mind, never think of you Caucasian people, so-called white people, as American, because they're not. They're Europeans. They're European Americans. I call them that. I call them Euro Americans or European Americans, so that they can remember who they are before they start talking about America's a white country. It ain't no white country. Ain't no such thing as white people. Just like it ain't no such thing as black people. That's just some made up construct, some nonsense to really. Because if that, like I'll take a page from Dane Calloway. He said that if black and white are racial or physical designations, meaning that's the color of us, then how come the Asians are not called yellow Americans, or you don't have red Americans? You know, why is there black and white? Because black and white is a social construct. The white represents the immigrants who they push out in the forefront, the so-called white people, and the people who are allowed to be white. And that's another thing, how you know it's not really a racial thing, because you got people who are able to classify as white. How are you able to classify as white if white is a race? And you got people who are Asian, who you got Arabs, people who dark skinned, East Indians, so-called Hindus, they classify as white. So that proves to you white has nothing to do with color. It's a status. We are designated as black. Why? Because black means indigenous. Black means indigenous. And I told you before, the immigrants don't like the indigenous people. That's what the real beef about black and white is. Black and white is nothing but immigrant and indigenous. We are the indigenous people. They are the immigrants. This is our country. That's really what the beef is. They hate the fact that our people are still here as the Americans. Now they really hate the fact that we're waking up as the real Americans. They hate that. And they sending out a lot of these racist, you got two tiers of hate that's coming at us, because one of my wives, she set up a page on Facebook basically promoting the festival, the American Indigenous Street and Music Festival. Why we get all these Pan-African Sambos that's coming up here? Oh, y'all don't want to be African. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all some pretendians and all this other nonsense. I'm pretty sure it's the Coon Moth crowd. Listen. Umar Johnson on his way out. So all that Pan-African talk, nobody trying to hear that from you people, because number one, y'all ain't going to Africa. Y'all claim to be such big Pan-Africanists, but none of these Pan-Africanists are going to live in any of the 54 countries in Africa. I noticed that. Why none of you Pan-Africanists and you pro-blacks going over to Africa? Because you had this guy, what's that guy's name? He's an actor, Miguel Nunez. Miguel Nunez was up here talking about, yeah, we need Africa, yeah, Ghana, they giving away free land in Ghana. This Sambo sitting up here promoting that American indigenous people go live in Africa. He's not these Sambos. Is he gonna go live in Africa? They trying to flaunt Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's a Ghanaian American. See that how they trying to make us immigrants in our country? You see that? Trying to make us immigrants in our own country. And you got a lot of these Sambos out here who helping. You see, ain't no Africa they ain't giving no land away for free. So Miguel Nunez, you a liar, man. And you need to go over there if you feel like that. You telling lie, nobody giving our people nothing, man. And we not African. We're not African. No disrespect to the Africans who are really African, but we not African. We American. We are American. And again, this is why we need the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. This is why we need it, for our American roots. The hell with everybody else. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Please spread the word. Please go to our sites, our social media sites, and spread the word. Please come out and support the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, where we're celebrating our American roots. We're not sitting up here celebrating nobody else. We're not celebrating Africa. We're not celebrating no black nonsense. We're not celebrating nothing else but who we are as Americans. By nationality, by internationality, we are continental Americans. We are continental Americans. Do y'all understand that? Meaning that we belong to both continents, South and Central America. You know, it's more so-called black Americans in South America and Central America than it is in North America. There's more of our people in South and Central America that look like us that are not African, because you know they like to tell that lie that how we got to any place, and that's an insult to the intellect of our people, that we got to America or any place other than Africa because we was brought there as slaves. Do y'all believe that BS? We would every place we got other than Africa, we got there as slaves. That's what they teach you. This is the white man's history. And a lot of you pro-black, pan-African, Umar Johnson type people, y'all are feeding that lie. Now I understand why Umar doing it. He's obviously getting a check. I'm pretty sure he's getting paid for this, because here's a guy who these guys ain't got no dual citizenship in Africa. They're not going to go live in Africa. They're not going to legally change their name to African names. So why are y'all trying to rep Africa if you're not doing none of that? You could go live in, because I got respect for you. If you really believe you African, if you really believe you from the continent, from the so-called motherland over there, then why don't you go back over there then? Then go over there. Why are you still in America? Why are you hanging around in America? Why are you pan-Africanists hanging around in America? And you got 54 countries in Africa to go to. You got 54 countries in Africa to go to, yet you sitting your ass here in America talking about you hate America and America KKK and the white man is America. Why don't you go to one of those African countries over there? Y'all should bounce. Y'all should bounce. Y'all should go to Africa, live there, go to Ghana, go to Nigeria, go to Nairobi. It's like you go there, and if you believe that they're going to roll out the red carpet, so be it. Shouldn't they go over there? Why are you sitting over here arguing with us when we stand up for who we are as American indigenous people? Wow, I got Sambos coming up here on the social media site that my wife set up to promote the festival. Oh, you pretendians this and you pretendians that, and coming in there being disrespectful. Don't support the. You got Sambos up there don't support the festival because you spitting in the face of our African ancestors. Well, why don't you niggas go hook up with your African ancestors over there? Why don't y'all go hook up with your African ancestors and get the hell out of America? Go get out of America. We celebrating who we are as American. We don't give a damn what nobody gonna say about it. We celebrating who we are as American indigenous people with American roots only. And we don't give a damn who don't like it. Y'all are African. Man, go to Africa, man. Go to Africa. We ain't telling you to stop being Pan-Africans. I ain't telling you to do that. I'm not saying, don't be. I told you that we not African. Well, if you want to be African and black and all that, that's your business. But you're not going to come and tell us we can't, don't support the festival. Man, go ahead with that, man. Misery love company. We're not miserable people over here. We are rejoicing in the truth, man. You see? Go fight oppression in Nigeria. Exactly. Go over there with those people. Go over there. Go over there with the Africans and live amongst them. You got 54 countries to choose from. Why are y'all still in America? Umar, why are you still in America? You should be building a Pan-African school over in Africa. Oh, that's right. They don't want no Pan-African school over there. That's just some nonsense you came up with, man. Now y'all Pan-African nonsense, man. You want to tell American indigenous people that they should embrace Pan-Africanism. Get out of here with that, man. If we're going to embrace anything, it's Pan-Americanism. We Americans. Don't let nobody punk you out of being American. They trying to punk us out of being American. They trying the so-called white man, the racist European. They trying to punk us out of being American indigenous people. They trying to get us to believe we came from Africa on slave ships. Nah, man. That's them trying to punk us out of who we are as American indigenous people. That's all that is. That's them trying to punk us out of who we are as American indigenous people. And we shouldn't go for that. We should not let nobody punk us out of who we are. You see, they want to be us. They want to take hold of everything we got. They want to be us. And like I said, you do whatever you want to do, but what we're not going to do is give up who we are as American indigenous people. Let people try and take hold of our heritage and, and tell us that we not who we say we are and that, all this other nonsense. Nah, man. No. We are American indigenous people, and we're going to celebrate who we are as Americans. You see, that's what was needed to fix our problems in the world. And let me just say this: you Pan-Africanists, y'all don't really believe y'all African. I could tell, because again, when people really believe in something, they follow it. When you really believe in something, you follow it. If you really believe you African, you're supposed to go like all these other so-called Black Americans. You're supposed to get up and go to one of those countries in Africa because you tired of America. You should do that. You should get it. You should get up and go get on the first flight and don't ever come back, because you got 54 countries to choose from. But the fact that you're still sitting here showed me that y'all really don't believe what y'all saying. Y'all full of it. Like when a person wants to be a Muslim, what do? They go and take the Shahada. They go grow their beard out, some of them, or whatever, and they become Muslims. And they live that life. They pray 5 times a day. They keep that real as to what they are. Now, when you got people who are perpetrating that don't really believe what they saying, they talk a good one, but they still sitting here in America. They not leaving America to go. They ain't changing their name to African names. You see, they're not changing their name to African names. They're not gonna go and leave America. They're gonna stay right here. You see. That's what you call people they're full of crap. You see? That's what you call people who full of crap. Okay? They're not going anywhere. Umar Johnson ain't gonna go live in Africa. Dr. James Smalls, he ain't gonna go live in Africa. They're not gonna go live there. They ain't gonna change. Why is his name still Dr. James Smalls? Where's his African name at? Where's Umukugaka? Ugubeke Ubaka? I'm playing around. But why they ain't got them names? Ufutunde, Jermaine Shoemake, whatever. They fake, man. They phony. You see, I became Benjamin Manhattan because my name is rooted in American indigenous heritage and American indigenous names and tribe. That's why I became, and more. It's rooted in more, but that's why I became Benjamin Manhattan. My name is an American name. My name, Benjamin Manhattan, is an American name, an American indigenous name. Why? Because an American indigenous man myself received that knowledge of who I am as an American indigenous man. And therefore, I say it's time for our people to take American indigenous names. Benjamin Manhattan is one of the first. I'm the only Benjamin Manhattan. You see, I stopped being Nuben Menkarayzz to become Benjamin Manhattan because in the real world, in the 3-dimensional world, as we moving into the 4th dimension, all things have to be real. And we as American indigenous people, as real Americans, have to be real with who we are. That's why we have an American community that we have for ourselves, an American community that deals with our culture, our heritage, our race, the Amun race, who we are as American people. And we're not trying to mesh with everybody else. I saw this guy, no disrespect to the brother, but I saw this guy. His name is he was on the 3 Mill show. His name is Chief Supreme Holiday. That's what the brother's name was, Chief Supreme Holiday, right? And he was trying to really get into our American indigenous heritage. He was saying a lot of good things. The brother was saying he was saying a lot of good things. Mm-hmm. He said a lot of good things. And again, I'm not taking nothing from him. Only thing he said that was kind of off a little bit, he said he represented the USA, and then he put up the United States flag. And I said, that's not an American flag. The USA, the United States flag is not an American flag. That's the United States flag. That's different. That's the That's the United States flag. That's not an American flag. Why? Because the people that made that flag, that created that flag, are not Americans. George Washington and all them other people are Europeans. So how do Europeans get to create an American flag? But I'm going to show you something funny. And I've thought about this. You do know that the woman that sold the flag was a bronze woman, an American indigenous woman named Grace Wisher. Grace Wisher sold the first American flag, not Betsy Ross. That's a lie. Grace Wisher sold the first American flag. Okay? Look that up. Grace Wisher, a bronze woman, an indigenous woman. Now, why did they get a bronze or an indigenous woman to make the flag of the United States of America? Answer: because they always want the indigenous people to have their hands somewhere in this society, whether it be in the background or whatever. They wanted American indigenous hands on their created government here, so that it would seem as though that it had the blessing, their government had the blessing of the indigenous people. Why you think they got Benjamin Banneker to design the outlay of the White House? Benjamin Banneker, another American indigenous man, a bronze American indigenous man. Why did they get him to map out and do the design for the White House? Because I told you, they always want American indigenous people with their hand in something that's creating that. You see? You follow what I'm saying? They always want us involved in something that they doing here in America, because it's almost like you got the approval of the original Americans, the real Americans. It's like we got the real Americans helping us. That's why they wanted to enslave our people so bad, because they was like, damn, the real Americans could build this country. They could pick cotton, they could grow cotton, harvest tobacco, do all the stuff we need. The real Americans, us. We was doing all that. The Native Americans didn't do nothing here. They did nothing but squat on the land and hunt buffalo and hunt food. That's all they did. They wasn't farming no land. They wasn't building no villages and whatnot. They had little squatting grounds. And again, no disrespect to them, but they're not indigenous to America. Just like the white man and all these other people. So they needed the indigenous people to help them build this government, to help them build a society. And that's what they got. They got our people, whether we went willingly or it was forced labor. You see, and when our people didn't want to work for the white man, there's like, oh, we got to make them, we got to force them, because if we don't force them, nothing gonna get done. Because every time they tried to do something on their own, they failed. Every time they tried to do something on their own, they failed. You see, the Europeans, every time they tried to do something here in America on their own, they failed until I forget, to 1600, where in Jamestown in the 1600s, where indigenous people, they started getting them to work for them and do something and enslave for them. And that's when they started to, in Jamestown, Virginia, because that's the first strongholds they really had, where they started building up. That's where the guy Bleckley came from, who created the term in 1651, white people. That term came about in about 1651, white people. Prior to that, there was no such thing as white people. That was a term that these racist Caucasians, tobacco farmers like William Bleckley in Virginia, that he created that term, white people, in 1651. Look it up. See, I know the history, the real history, not the fake history, the real history. Because see this, because the racist Europeans, they won't erase the history, but what they will do is present a alternative history, their version of the history, basically some lies, some whitewash. They'll put that in front of the real history. So then you like, oh, that's the history that I just studied it from them. And I'm like, why are you believing these people? These people are liars, man. They'll say anything just so that they can have a control over history. That's why they teach their lies in school. because they need to control you mentally. They need to have a control over history, because see, what you believe and what you accept about the past shapes your future. And they want all of the lies and whatnot to be able to shape your future. That's why if you notice, you pan-Africanists, you sit up here and argue about us being American indigenous people, and y'all sound ignorant as hell, because you are the product of a racist education system that taught lies to our people. We came over from Africa on slave ships. We black people, we African American, all this nonsense, man. And y'all bought into it. Y'all sit up here and call yourself black people every day. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Is your skin black? Why are you still doing something calling yourself black people? That makes zero sense. That makes zero sense. You see? That makes, why are you still calling yourself black people? Why are you calling yourself, these are all lies. And y'all seem like y'all comfortable with the lie. You seem like you comfortable with the Europeans' lies, with the Caucasians' lies. The white man, as they say. You okay with his lies, the racist ones. If you okay with that, then you, like I said, you can't talk about nothing, because you ain't did no real history. You see? So that's why, again, why we having the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Because I'm going to be out there speaking Saturday and Sunday. I'll be out there speaking about our American Indigenous heritage, our American Indigenous roots. We need to hear that. We need to have festivals celebrating who we are as American Indigenous people. The hell with all the African nonsense, man. Because, again, I'm sick and tired of Omar Johnson, him and all his ilk and all them Pan-African. That's played out, man. Nobody care about Pan-Africanism no more. Nobody really did. Y'all had to make that a thing. Nobody really ever really cared about Pan-African. That was just a thing that they tried to push in the 60s, and it went for as long as it did, and that was it. And it started dying in the 70s. Nobody was on it, but whatever. So, let me look at some of these comments. All right. So I'm about to wrap this up in a minute. So we know from, I'll be back tomorrow. So we know that the USA was created by the immigrants, because the immigrants are Native Americans. They come here and they start having children here, and their children are therefore after that referred to as natives of this country, but they are not indigenous. And the American indigenous people did all the labor. We did all the heavy lifting. So it was a joint effort. The USA was a joint effort between the American Indians, us, and the Native Americans, the Europeans. Okay, that's where they come from. That's where the United States of America come from, just like that. So, and our people need to wake up to the fact that we're the real American Indigenous people. So go and hit that link down below and support the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. It's going to be taking place at Rodney Cook Senior Park in Atlanta, Georgia, Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd. It's going to be a 2-day event, a 2-day affair, a 2-day festival. So come on out. We're going to have a big old American block party. We're going to be celebrating our roots. We're going to have a good time. We're going to celebrate who we are as true Americans, real Americans. And we're not going to let nobody punk us out of being the real indigenous American people. Ain't nobody going to punk us no more by calling us African Americans and Negroes and black. And, oh, why you black people don't want to be African? Man, go to hell, man. You Pan-Africanists and you racist Caucasians, y'all the same, man. You racist white American Caucasians and you pro-black Pan-African. Y'all go hand in hand, man. Like Amos and Andy. Like Abbott and Costello. You see? Y'all some clowns, man. You ain't telling us a goddamn thing. But again, support the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Support the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. We're going to have a good time out there. It's going to be from 12 noon to 8 in the evening. We're going to be playing music. We're going to have food out there. It's free. The event is free. But like I said, we need another $5,000. We almost at the point of 15 grand. So please hit the link. Come on, we almost there. We need another $5,000. That ain't nothing. Everybody could just give $40 if they like. I'm gonna send y'all out t-shirts. We still got t-shirts coming. I ain't forget y'all. People got their t-shirts. So please bear with me. I promise after this week, everybody gonna have the t-shirts. I promised you. Please, let's hit this link and let's get this other $5,000 up. We almost at 10 grand, which is beautiful. People donated. I put my money in it. Because I know anything you gotta You know, you got to put energy into it. We're gonna make this happen. This is a monumental event where we coming out as Americans. We're not coming out as no African Americans. We're not coming out as no black people. We're not coming out as anything other than who we are by nationality, which is American, original Americans, indigenous Americans. So we celebrate now Olmec, Aztec, Inca, Mayan, American Indians, American cowboys. We're celebrating all of that. And we're going to play our music, our American indigenous music, our soul, our R&B, our hip hop, our jazz. We playing everything, man. All of it's our music. I might play some break out and play some country music, some Charlie Pride, bronze American indigenous country singer, a real American country singer, Mr. Charlie Pride. Shout out to him. He got a couple of good cuts. I ain't gonna front. Might play some of that Beyonce crap too. I don't know. We'll see. But come on out and support that. Hit the link. And if you want to be part of the American community, the real American community that's here, join the Republic of America. Join the Republic of America, ROA Worldwide. Our American people are all over the world. We are in all four corners of the earth. Americans are everywhere. Remember, American is a internationality, not just a nationality. We are continental Americans from South America, Central America, North America. We got people in the UK. We got people in Israel. We got people all over, American indigenous people. You see, we got people in Africa. We got Americans in Africa who think they're African, but I'm waking them up to the fact that they're not, because we know how Africans look and we know how Americans look, but we'll leave it at that. So I'm about to close this out. Support the festival, and yeah, man, let's have a good time. Join the Republic of America. Hit the ROA link, and if you want to support the message, go to my Mentellect Patreon. Subscribe to Mentellect Patreon. Become a Patreon. It's only $15 a month. You can hear all of my broadcasts I do every night. Raw and uncut broadcasts, stuff I can't say on YouTube, or I say on Mentellect Patreon, on my Mentellect Patreon. So join and subscribe to Mentellect Patreon, MENTELLECT, Mentellect Patreon, and that's it. And also subscribe to Sister Enra Benzetta's American Indigenous channel. She has a very good channel out, so subscribe to that as well. And that's it. Let me see if I got anything. We everywhere. Americans are everywhere. Join, donate. Yes. Baji, you got your shirt? I sent you your shirts, Baji. I sent you your shirts. So, yeah. All right. So I want to thank you all for bearing with me. I'm about to close this out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust, and Amen we think, and Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual Lord, Benjamin Manhattan. This has been Supreme American TV. We got some merch coming very soon. Y'all gonna like our t-shirts and sweatshirts. We got some merch coming. I'm gonna start selling merchandise and stuff like that. So y'all gonna like the merch we got coming. And yeah, man, this is a royal space right here, man. This is a royal space. This is a no BS space. This is a royal space here for the royal people, for the original Americans. This is all about the original Americans here. We celebrating our heritage and history as the original Americans, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, all that. We celebrate who we are as the original Americans. Period, point blank. And that's it. So close out. What I want to close out with? I want to close out with some music. I always got to go out some music. Yeah, I'm gonna do some sun shower. Good night.